Hey everybody, it's Nick Pond with Jay Lamb, and we've just come back from GingerMan Raceway for the first of 2 events at GingerMan. Now, GingerMan is the home of some very fragrant restroom facilities.
We have what we call the GSU, the GingerMan Stink Unit.
Yeah.
That is the unit by which all other stinky racetrack bathrooms are measured.
Yeah.
Let's just say that a lot of gentlemen who were getting heavy into the schnitzel and sauerkraut and bratwurst last night had to go use the porta potty because that was their only option. And man, they were straining out some pretty serious knockwurst residue.
Speaking of bathrooms, this guy clearly had to get to one because it's the middle of the night. He jumps on his bicycle, he's really got to get to the can, and he's pedaling, and he fails to notice one small obstacle in his way, a LeMons race car. Clang! Breaks the windshield with his face, because why wouldn't you do that? And he had to spend the whole morning helping these guys put a mesh windshield in to replace what he busted.
Yeah, I mean, the mesh looked fine, and his face wasn't even all that bad.
Now, as you know, normally we don't care who wins, but at this event, it kind of mattered. And, there was some awesome stuff on the winners column, so let's talk about that. Group C, you got the Chevy engineers. They bring a Chevy S10. Now, there were only 3 cars in Class C. One of them was a Fiat, so they got a 50-50 chance on that. Here's the guys who won.
And Class B are the guys from Charnel House and their Taurus SHO-powered Geo Metro, or as they call it, the Met Show. Now, this is an amazing thing. We've covered it before. It's dressed up like Monster Tajima's Pikes Peak rally car, and it's just the most incredible thing. The front splitter is a table that unfolds that allows drivers to sign autographs. Greatest thing ever. And actually, it's so good that some teams have actually complained a little bit like, well, that car has a V6, and it has 200 horsepower, it's very lightweight, and it is mid-engine. How can you possibly let it be in Class B? Well, as it turns out, you take Ford Taurus motor, put it in Geo Metro, it's a loophole.
Who
We'll
knew?
put you in Class B.
Who knew? Speaking of loopholes, right? Our timing and scoring guy, Roland Hahn, now he's been talking about this killer RX-7 that he's been developing forever. He says, I have a lot of experience. I race these cars on SCCA. I'm a champion. He said, Roland, look, we don't care. All you got to do, we ask 2 things. 1, it's not hella loud and annoying. We hate those things in RX-7. And 2, it's just make it run. Don't have it parked right in front of HQ going blap, 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 all weekend long. What happened? Here's what happened.
Yeah, Roland was 0 for 2 on those 2 requirements. And, RX-7s in general, we've had a couple of them win overall. And the ones that win sound kind of like this. And the ones that break down, drive us crazy, come in hella butt last, and are just a total nuisance sound like this.
Speaking of total nuisance breaking down and, just being horrible. All right, here's another guy. Well, that car's going to dominate. These guys got this Ford Mustang 5-liter, super cheaty, every cheaty-ass part you could possibly have. We didn't give them a lot of laps, and why? Because they are hopeless. In fact, they were so hopeless, we gave them the should have taken a bailout trophy. Give it up, dudes.
Not so hopeless at the other end of the spectrum. The Volvo Burt 1, Volvo 262 Bertoni Coupe. They towed it all the way from California just to participate in GingerMan. And this thing is just a strong runner. Ran around and around and around. Eventually, at the end of the race, wound up P2, second place overall. And that's really an accomplishment for that horrible piece of heavy Volvo machinery.
Now, who didn't work very well was the I Got Screwed trophy winner. This was the Little Lebowskis. They were kind of the event favorite going in. There were a lot of cars that could win overall on this thing. They were one of them. They never even got out of their paddock space. It was heartbreaking.
It ran great Friday and then just stopped running for the remainder of the entire weekend.
That is not true. It did actually run a little bit enough to get into the trailer at the end of the day Sunday.
No, they pushed it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Also up at the top of the heap, these guys in the E30. They were cruising to victory. They were going to win overall, but then, the clutch is starting to slip. And that's okay, we can baby it. Their lap times have started getting higher and higher and higher, and then we got a real problem. It will not move at all. And well, maybe we'll let it cool down. And we've got such a huge lead over whoever's in second place. And it never quite came back together. The thing was stuck in the pits. They totally heartbreaking finish for them. But, in the grand scheme of things, not a huge heartbreak, because really, who cares about winning a LeMons race?
Who cares about the overall winner? It's trivial. You know what's not trivial? Phil reintroduced the Taiwanese national anthem. Now, this is based on those maiden Taiwan car alarms. You've heard them.
Choo, 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 choo. Boo.
So this penalty is really simple. You screw up, you come in, he straps that on your car right behind your helmet. You gotta listen to that for the rest of the event. Fabulous.
Hella sweet. Car and driver. Who
Yeah.
knew? They were running, we do the top 10 lineup for day 2 so that the top 10 cars get a fair jump on the day's racing, and who is sitting in the line is car and driver. Their horrible red Prelude. Like, what are you guys doing here? Well, we're in the top 10. What? So, hey, well done.
Yeah, that was excellent. And you know what? I think it's because Chubba wasn't there, right?
Oh.
Another great penalty, the Easter egg hunt. This was on Easter, and there were, 20 devout teams or something. They couldn't make it because, the bunny would come and give them the shiv and the gizzard. But at least we got the opportunity. So these guys screwed up. Phil hit a whole bunch of eggs with socket wrenches inside. Had to go find them all before they could get on the track.
It's an Alfa Milano, and it's also Alyssa Milano, and it's got a football theme. Why? Because Alyssa Milano's got her own line of sports themed apparel, which I think is her in for Dayton sports stars. And it's a very high concept thing, and I don't think it gets enough appreciation, but personally I think it's hella sweet.
You know what else was hella sweet? The rental car drag race.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, so we are always going all over the country. We get these horrible rental cars, and each one is worse than the next, right? But we have noticed there is a certain theme. The Chevrolet Impala 3.4, is it?
It's a 3.6 direct injection variable valve timing.
Thing is a rocket ship.
Yeah.
So we got
Who knew?
our Maxima rent car, we got our Impala rent car, just to see. The Maxima's probably twice the cost, right? I mean, it's a 4-door sports car.
It says right there on the window.
Check this out, looks pretty close to me.
Heroic Fix went to Team Tima, which is the Toyota Equipment Manufacturing Asians. It's people that work for Toyota. And they've got 2 Toyotas, MR2, FX16, of course with the JDM 20 valve motor.
Yeah, because that's the secret weapon.
They blew up one, they blew up the second one,
Yep.
fixed first one, that one blew up, still working on the second one, and they are just doing that for the whole danged weekend. And eventually they got both cars back out and running.
A bunch of Toyota engineers and employees got a trophy for making 2 Toyotas run.
Well done, Toyota.
Yeah. Judge's choice was these poor guys. Now, they were super sweet. Their car was incredibly terrible. Here's the ad that they bought the car from, and we just liked them so much. They went around. It was the slowest F-body, and that's really saying something. But they were totally nice, and they kept at it, so judge's choice for those guys.
Organizer's choice went to a 3-car effort, the Wonderment Consortium, and they have a very diverse racing team. This is like, I could picture the transporter pulling up, right? And it opens up the door, and what pops out? Honda Civic, dressed up like Peeps candy. Ford Escort, Easter bunnies on the side. Pink Volkswagen Quantum station wagon. And they're all so terrible. And I don't know, they all came in last somehow. But they have just the best attitude. In fact, we had a giveaway helmet from Racer Parts Wholesale. We only had one, so we said, hey, whoever gets up here first wins the helmet.
Where's my helmet? See you later.
Hey, we were on the track.
IOE, this is an automatic 4-banger Ford Tempo, 11th overall. It was spectacular, and it is also a time machine.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Kind of a
Ford Tempo.
Way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
And I don't think there's anything else important to cover.
I don't think we missed anything.
Here's Lemons in a nutshell.
I have found that my power in the Congress is not sufficient to defend the office of the executive branch and to save America.
I was actually listening to that speech in the car.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I have it on my iPod.